Viewer discretion is advised.
And welcome in to the FC Podcast. It is your co-host, Toast78901, and the new podcast co-host, who unfortunately is not sitting near me, but instead on the other side of the United States, Max Dogger.
I'm the Max Dogger.
For those of you guys who don't know Max Doggy, he's been in the community for a while. In terms of getting to know him a bit more, we're going to have that in the second segment. We're essentially going to meet him, so to speak.
But yeah, cliffhanger and stuff.
But for this first part, what we're going to do is, of course, as always, cover the battle results from last night. Blue had another sweeping victory on both maps, Exile and Sanctuary, Exile being a 6v6. Yeah, Max, did you get a chance to play it all tonight?
I did, in fact, have a chance to play tonight. If you don't know, I'm a part of Legacy Squad, which is a bunch of old people that fart and play Halo. I'm talking about Jesus, mainly. And Spartan BH, who I affectionately call Spartan BJ. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, I played, with Legacy on both Exile and Sanctuary. And Legacy fielded 2 teams on Exile and 3 teams on Sanctuary. And I do believe I only lost the first game that I played tonight, and then, I won the rest of them. So, I'm not saying I'm good, but the team I was with achieved victory.
Good shit. I also only lost one game tonight. I was playing as an extra out there. In terms of the numbers, well, Exile, it's a little hard to say. We had 3 different ties, one of which was essentially just a agree to mark it as a tie because there were multiple issues with lag and they couldn't get the game set up. That one actually took over an hour to be resolved. Tonight was definitely a long battle night.
Yeah, this is just why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. It really is. In terms of the rest of the night, Sanctuary was pretty much just a blue sweep right off the board. Red came out and got the first 2 victories. Sparta was able to secure those for them. And then it was just multiple blue victories in a row until Sparta came back in and was able to secure 2 more, one of which was a very, very close game that I was in. We lost by 3 kills in Conflict. It was a very, very good game.
You must be just heartbroken that you just lost. Like,
well, we won the map, so I'm kind of like, yay, but that game, yeah, we were down maybe 12, 14 kills, and then we made a comeback and tied it up, and then in the last 10 seconds, they got like 5 kills ahead, and we were able to make up 2 of them, and then the last 3, we weren't able to do it.
Yeah, those close games, there's nothing like it in any other place ever. Just FC close games, those are amazing. Love them.
Yeah.
Would love to have them all the time, but sometimes winning is nice by like a heavy margin.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty awesome. In terms of other FC news, I'm trying to think. I don't really think we have many. Or much more to talk about, really.
Dateline, August 26, 2013. This is a public service announcement from the FC Podcast team. Free the Birdman! That is all.
Yeah, well, we had the new skins that Lithonia and Metadust made, and those are awesome.
Very true. I like the, animation up at the top with the different destroyers and stuff. It's very nice.
And the mobile skin is actually, lookable at. Like, you actually want to look at the mobile skin. It's very nice.
I have not checked that out yet. I haven't had a need to, but considering that I'm starting classes this week, I'm probably going to.
Check all the mobile skins. There's only one.
Oh, I was gonna say, there's multiple? When did this happen?
Yes. I'm pretty sure you can just revert it to the basic one if you wanted to be a boring person. If you so choose to be, like Blackhawk, for example. Boring.
In terms of other stuff, well, pretty much the only thing that I can say, guys, is that starting next week, we're gonna actually be changing things up here on the podcast. We're going to have both the FC Newscast and the FC Podcast. The FC Newscast will come out on Monday mornings instead. That's going to be pretty much this first segment, but it's also going to go in depth to gaming news, general news around the world if it's important, and especially really in-depth looking at battle nights, including close games, full-on stats, predicted war map movements and all that fun shit. And then the podcast itself will most likely be coming out on Fridays from now on, and that'll pretty much be the discussion section of the listener mail. So definitely stay tuned for both of those. I can see people enjoying both.
And if you don't enjoy both, then you can go find a hole, and if there isn't a hole nearby, you can take a shovel, you can dig one for yourself, approximately human size, your size, you know your size better than I do. Dig a hole, put yourself in the hole, and then cover yourself up in the hole so that, like, basically bury yourself and die. Not saying that it's a healthy thing, but if you were to do so because you don't like the podcast and the newscast, I would be okay with it.
Warning, the FC podcasts and Forerunner Conflict do not in any way support the burying of oneself. The opinions expressed in this show may not represent the opinions of Forerunner Conflict.
This dark moment was brought to you by Max Dong.
I think that was a nice thing for people to meet you with, telling you to go bury themselves.
Start off with great satirical, dark humor. Jesus, this was probably meant for you. I'm not saying it was meant for you, but it probably 95% was for you.
In other words, he's so saying it was for you. That being said, guys, I think what I'll do is shoot you over to the quick break that we always have after this first segment. We'll come back in for a meet your new co-host and a really in-depth look at all the news coming out of Gamescom. So stay tuned for that, guys. Welcome back into the FC podcast. Considering that we are now starting this with our new, that we would go ahead and begin the second segment at least with an introduction to the great and almighty powerful Max Dogge.
I am the Max Dogge.
Nice intro. So, Max, why don't you go ahead and just give us a quick little rundown on, when you joined FC, your history in it, your role in it.
Okay, well, I am Max Dogge on the forums, and my real name is Joshua. I hail from the state of Michigan, and I used to attend the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Now I'm attending the University of Michigan, Dearborn. Stuff and things happen. But yeah, I joined the community in September of 2008. And that was during the first Forerunner Conflict war of Halo 3. And my first battle was in fact the Blue Capital battle, and I was on blue, and we were defending. And I do believe in my first game, I got over 50 kills with a Scorpion tank, and that's when the Scorpion tank was still in multiplayer, and all of the red people thought I was an MLG pro tryhard, and I wasn't. I was just really late, and everyone else was lagging, and I wasn't. So, yes, I'm a tryhard. But yeah, I've been there for a long time. I was a squad leader of a couple of the different squads, and worked my way up to general position, and I stayed there for a while. Then I just took on the field marshal position, won my wars like a boss, and then became a general again, and then sort of retired from the wars for a while as I went off to college, and then kinda came back as a precursor, and now I'm in blue, and I'm playing again, and it's beautiful, and now I'm on the FC podcast.
Well then, I personally love the story about everyone in Red that you're an MLG pro tryhard.
It's funny because it's not true.
But damn, 50 fucking kills with a Scorpion.
Well,
Good shit.
it was maybe plus or minus 5 here and there, but we'll say it's 50 for the sake of an amazing story.
Sounds good. So, another little thing, in case you guys don't know, Max actually runs the FC Gaming News Twitter feed.
Yes.
And so, he actually is a perfect candidate for this next segment that we thought that we'd go ahead and do. Recently, in case you know, there was Gamescom. And essentially, Gamescom.
Yes.
Fuck, did I say con?
You said con.
Did
You said con as in convention.
Shoot me. Just shoot me.
Well, I don't necessarily know where you live, Brandon, so I think that might be a bit different.
No, just fine then. Call Gunny and have him shoot me. Anyway.
Well, if it's his name.
Yeah. Okay. After that slip up, Gamescom. And we had tons of fucking news coming out of that. So I think I'll go ahead and hand it off to Max to go ahead and bring us in with our couple really, really big topics.
Alright, so yeah, all of this information, just in case you don't know, will be and will forever be on the FC_gaming news section of the Twitter. And that Twitter is located on our homepage on the left side in a little column. It has the FC Wars Twitter account and the FC Gaming News Twitter account on there. And as Brennan said, I run the FC Gaming News Twitter account. So all of the topics that we'll be talking about and all of the links to all of the amazing things will be there. So if you don't know what I'm talking about and you've never heard about it, first of all, shame on you. And second of all, it's there for your usage. So I'm being nice. It's my gift to you. And we're going to start off with a couple of big topics. First topic that we will discuss is that the PlayStation 4 will be releasing on November 15th in North America. Release
Yeah,
dates.
it's about time. What I thought that was funny with the PS4 in general was, didn't they have, they set a date for the time at which they would announce the date of the release?
Yes, so announcementception, I believe, would be the proper term. So they sent out press invites to all of the press people. Save this date. You're going to announce the date of our next console. Yeah. Fun stuff.
And with PS4 coming out, it looks like the PS4 was going to get about 33 games by the end of December.
Yes, and an interesting note about those 33 games is that 15 are downloadable titles, and so most of them are actually independently developed, or indie games for the layman. But, so with that number of 33, if you can do your math, it's not a whole lot of physical games being launched in the end of 2013. So PS4 is saying, oh, we have 33 games. And to the normal average consumer, they're thinking, blockbuster games. However, 15 of them are downloadable titles and may not be the full games that we maybe are used to. Some of their indie titles do look really, really awesome, especially to see what Jonathan Blow is doing. If you don't know, he's the guy that did Braid, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And that was a really awesome game that I did not complete because I sucked at it. But yeah, there's 15 titles, and those are all downloadable. And in comparison, the Xbox One will be launching with 23 games, day one, and there's 55 in their launch window. All of the links to all those titles are somewhere in that Twitter feed. If we're nice, maybe we'll add all these links to the bottom of the podcast post on the fcwars.net post.
We will see how much I like people.
Yes, if Brandon doesn't like you, I'm sorry, you get nothing. You get coal for Christmas. You apologize.
At E3, I know Kaz, Gunny, and I all pointed that out, was especially when they came out on the stage at the PS4 and started talking about how many titles they were going to have, they started throwing in almost under their breath, most of which will be indie developed. That phrase.
Yes. It's not to get off too much off topic, but PlayStation is we're this amazing indie developer now, and we'll support indie games, and that's cool. And then when Microsoft announced that there wasn't going to be indie games at all, at the official announcement, no self-publishing, everyone freaked out. And so Sony's ha ha ha, we have indie games. Which, while PlayStation is saying, oh, these are PlayStation exclusive, they're saying console exclusive instead of PlayStation exclusive. So they're going to be releasing on PC anyway. And so they're like, oh, we have these exclusive titles. Well, they're only console exclusives, and if these guys are intelligent as indie developers, they want to get their games on as many platforms as possible.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put out seeing most of those games on the Xbox One eventually.
Sorry for noise in the background, by the way, people. I had people come in and throw my kitten at me. Apparently he is wreaking havoc.
I don't like kittens. So
What?
Well, is it a kitten or is it a cat?
It's a kitten. I chose the wrong co-host.
Kittens are okay. Cats, they're mean and they want to kill people.
Okay, I will say cats are the largest asshole pets on Earth. However, you can train that out of them, and I'm working on training it out of them.
Okay, if you can somehow train, cats. Okay, but yeah, going back before I got really interrupted by cats. I just feel insulted. I was interrupted by cats. First of all, the Xbox One did a 180, and they will have self-publishing on the Xbox One. And within the first couple months of launch, every single Xbox One console will be allowed to be per console and a development kit. So all these developers don't have to go out and buy a specific development kit. Any Xbox One with a certain update that they'll be pushing out will work. So instead of a PlayStation 4 experience where you have to get a separate dev kit, the Xbox One, every single console will be an indie, capable development kit. And so that was a big 180, and that there's going to be another indie section on the marketplace like there is now. They're not getting rid of it with like what was the previous plan to do. So that was just one of their 180s that the Xbox One has done, and it's kind of a good thing because now it levels the playing field once again.
Yeah, the next one, and this is one that I was really excited about, and I totally missed it when it was announced, and I just saw it yesterday. Was the new Destiny Vidoc.
Okay, first of all, how do you say Vidoc? Vidoc or Vidoc?
I say Vidoc.
So it's like video, but it's just the Vi is like the video, but video.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah, like I
vid,
can see going like Vidoc.
Vidoc? Or is it Vidoc? I don't know.
The reason why I say Vidoc is because that's what I've heard most from developers.
Oh, so you're all hoity and toity and you just follow the crowd? Yeah.
No, trust me, I have plenty of gripes with people misusing pronunciation in the English language.
Forge your own path, Brandon.
Well, the other thing is the duck would be separate, and then you just have that I there, and to be honest, from an etymological standpoint, it could go either way, so...
GIF? Do you say GIF or do you say GIF?
I say GIF, however, the Webster's Dictionary and the creator both say and swear that it's GIF, which I say the creator's fucking stupid.
Amen. I believe with you. We can be friends now. But yes, the Destiny Vidoc, it was beautiful. It was amazing. The first half kind of sucked because it was basically the same thing over and over again, and we've already seen. But the last half, that was beautiful, and it showed us new content and new enemies that we've seen just in screenshots, but now we see them in motion, and all these different guns and Borderlands plus base sequels.
Yeah,
awesome.
And really, really pointing out and hammering home the fact that the way in which their multiplayer is going to operate. And for those of you guys who don't know, and they really, really talk about it, I think they say this one phrase multiple times is, you'll be able to play and then just have one of your friends just fly in and drop in near you.
Yes, sir. And, actually interesting, before this Vidoc came out, there was an interview with, I think, GameSpot. And on the GameSpot website, people were like, oh, it's not coming out for PC, no buy. Well, I can understand, no buy. But then people are like, no competitive multiplayer, no buy. And it's like, have you not been paying attention? There will be a competitive multiplayer mode for Destiny, just like there'll be that campaign type of multiplayer mode in co-op. With this Vidoc, Bungie really explained, yes, there's going to be a competitive multiplayer mode. If you didn't know this, you're an idiot. But for all those idiots out there, we're saying it again. Because, you know, the publisher is Activision, and so if we don't have competitive multiplayer, we're not allowed to exist. That's just my opinion, because, you know, Call of Duty multiplayer, reskin 5.0. I could do an entire rant
about Call of Duty. It's not even a reskin.
But I'll
like,
save
don't
that
even
for
give
later.
it that kind of, like, notoriety. They don't even deserve to be called a reskin. But yeah, they did definitely show that they're gonna have everything from kind of like a co-op campaign type feel to random events that'll happen that your friends can jump into to even just straight up competitive multiplayer.
And the competitive multiplayer, hopefully it'll be good. You know, they made Halo multiplayer, so it can't be that bad. I'm just wondering.
It's Bungie. I trust them.
Well, Halo Reach was the thing, but
However, when it comes to Halo Reach and ODST, they literally stopped at 3, and then Microsoft said, no, we want you to make 2 more. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't really their choice, you know what I mean? So I kind of see it as, fuck it, we'll make your game. Here's your game, I'm done. I'm gonna go start working on Destiny now, fuck you.
Politics. That's beautiful.
Speaking of competitive multiplayer, I think one of the best competitive multiplayer games out there, cough cough, Battlefield series, they had a new trailer recently.
Well, trailers and a bunch of live streams, which you can catch on twitch.tv, and if you just search Battlefield 4, they'll be on there. But yeah, they had a new trailer for their Levolution, and that takes place on the map. I forget which map it's already called, but it's water and stuff and things. But yeah. They announced Battlefield 4 Premium as well, and it comes with 5 expansions for $50, much like it is now, or was, for Battlefield 3 Premium. It'll include early access to new features, skins, stuff like that. And the map packs will be China Rising, which is set in China, as you might be able to imagine. Second Assault, which is 4 multiplayer maps from Battlefield 3 are being remade and added with Levolution and the Frostbite 3.0 engine. And then you have Naval Strike, which is ocean combat in the Sea of China. China's a big theme here, if you can't tell. Dragon's Teeth is the U.S. fighting back in urban warfare against the Chinese, we assume. And then Final Stand is the war's epic conclusion, and they aren't talking anything of that at all. I just think they're gonna have a bunch of nukes everywhere, and stuff and things will happen, and everyone will die over and over. It'll be like a spawn trap in Forge mode. And that would be great, in my opinion.
That'd be real interesting. Speaking of which, they also have a new game mode coming out.
Yeah. This new game mode is called Obliteration, and it's kind of a take on, Sabotage from Call of Duty, if you're familiar. It has multiple neutral bombs, from what we can tell. And there's multiple bases to attack, like the MCOM stations in Battlefield 3. So like, there's neutral bombs, and your team can go pick one of those bombs up and deliver it to the enemy's base and destroy it like an MCOM. And it sounds like while that's happening, there might be other neutral bombs that the enemy could pick up and then go to your base, so that there won't just be a one-sided push. It'll be a game type. And it looks kinda awesome. I'm not sure if it'll be like the rush killer that everyone is looking it to be.
Yeah.
But then again, they didn't really show much in the trailer. We just know that it exists, and that it's called Obliteration, and that it probably entails obliterating things.
Obliteration, it's a thing now.
That should be their tagline.
Yeah. And also this next little note that we have here almost makes me a little uneasy, to be honest.
Oh, why? Why do you say?
Well, essentially from what it's being called is you can go onto, their site, I'm assuming, and you can vote on which field upgrades they're gonna add. Which their field upgrades are, I guess, similar to strike packages in Call of Duty. And I'm just like,
Well, yeah, I guess the way the field upgrade system works is that if it rewards teammates who are working as a team to help further their goals. And so as you do more things in the game, and if you perform well, you'll get more things, like more perks, like the squad perks that you have now on Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
You can earn those as you're in the game, as you be more awesome.
So then are they getting rid of, okay, so if they're similar then to squad perks, are they getting rid of the current setup that they have, where you just kind of preload them on?
From what I've been reading, it looks that way.
Okay.
So that everyone will have a reason to use a different field upgrade. And it's like, the upgrade system is 4 levels, and you unlock different upgrades at each different level, and they're all in different ways. So one field upgrade system might have A, B, C, and D, then the other one could be D, C, Z, and F. There's all these different upgrades that you could have. Looking at how it works, it looks like in addition to what the commander will have, because the commander, as your team does well, you can have like UAVs and missile strikes.
Yeah.
But the field upgrades, it looks like it's personal, and so that the teamwork isn't only rewarded for the command.
Yeah. Interesting. I think if they do it that way, I'd be okay with it. I think what I saw immediately was, strike packages in Call of Duty similar to that, and I was like, oh, hold up a second here.
Well, this is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. It was like, don't go in that direction at all. And fucking speaking of Call of Duty, I hate to have to cover this, but it is news for anybody out there who fucking cares. There are new Call of Duty Ghost multiplayer details, including perks, strike packages, game modes, etc.
Yes, this is being explained by Xbox 360 Achievements.com, one of my favorite websites, by the way. There are a total of 35 perks spread across 7 categories. Each perk has a points value of 1 to 5, with 8 points to spend in total. If you choose to not have a secondary weapon, that points total is bumped up to 11. So, what it sounds like they're doing is that instead of just having slot 1 for perk and slot 2 for perk and then death perk, it looks like they're getting rid of death perks entirely, for what I recall from Infinity Ward Act. So they're getting rid of death perks, and then they're just adding a pool system so that you could potentially have like 4 different perks added as long as they're like low on points value. They didn't really say how much each perk would be worth points-wise, but they're saying that they're switching to this system so that the player isn't restricted and how the developer splits up the perks into like slot 1 and slot 2, for example.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But yeah, well, I forgot. There is a note about the Battlefield 4 beta, and that beta is launching in early October for everyone that has either Battlefield 3 Premium for PC or pre-ordered Battlefield 4 Digital Deluxe Edition for PC, or people that bought Medal of Honor Warfighter. So if you're one of those people, there'll be a beta launching in early October, and you'll be able to play Battlefield 4 before most people, and then we will hate you for playing Battlefield 4 beta while we're playing other 360 games.
Yeah, I'll be a little pissed off.
Well, thankfully for me, I'm the idiot that bought Battlefield 3 Premium for all systems. So I have it for 360, I have it for PC, and then my dad has it for PS3. So I think I'm set on all of the map packs, but yeah, you can call it overkill if you want to.
Also in the world of news, and this is something that we talked about earlier, I mean, obviously, especially after the way in which Microsoft originally billed the Xbox One and all the events we had happen at E3 and the fallout afterwards, recently Sony apparently took a jab at the Xbox One and Microsoft in general for flip-flopping.
Yeah, at the Sony Gamescom press conference, they said that Sony has always been very consistent and we haven't changed, and that they called Microsoft out for flip-flopping and saying that, our message has always been consistent. We're always about the gamers, and that we are always been this way, so love us and give us your monies. I added that extra part at the end, but that's the gist of it. And then Microsoft replied in a different interview saying that, we listen to our consumers, and it's an advantage we have. It's not a disadvantage to change our policy. If better information comes available and our consumers say otherwise, why wouldn't we switch? That would be dumb. And so Microsoft just said, they're dumb for calling us dumb. Everyone thought was dumb. Because reasons.
Because of reasons. I kind of see, those two as being, little schoolers or something like that. Even younger than middle schoolers just kind of being like, well, look at stupid. And then it's like, no, what you're doing is stupid.
Well, when you have money involved, yeah, I guess you kind of devolve, or I don't know. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Sony's like, nah, you are stupid. Microsoft's just like, I want to be like you. And then they want to all of their policies so that the Xbox One should be called the Xbox 180, but that wouldn't make sense marketing-wise, so they stuck with the Xbox One.
Oh boy, that should always be interesting. There's also some just general news and tech/video game stuff in general. Most notably, I think. Or actually, no, not most notably, that I look at the list. Second most notably is the fact that Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer is going to retire within the next year.
Yeah, Steve Ballmer has been with Microsoft, almost since the turn of this century, if I recall properly, and he's led them through all the Windows operating systems, starting with Windows 2000, if I recall. And so now Bill Gates and the rest of the board are looking for a new CEO, and so whenever a new CEO can get online and be filled in with how everything works, CEO Steve Ballmer will retire within the next year, and said that it's time and that we need to restructure as we move forward so that we can be a better business and we can be a better service-oriented business, which is what they're trying to do with the whole Xbox One, and try to be a service so that stuff and things. This is all part of that restructuring plan that Steve Ballmer put into place, which most notably had Don Matrick leaving for Zynga because Don Matrick didn't like what was going to happen. So Don Matrick decided to leave, and now Steve Ballmer's like, I'm gonna retire. I'm old. I've made billions of dollars. Money, reasons, stuff and things. But yeah. Brandon is having microphone problems or something or other, or he's being attacked by a rogue kitten. So while that's happening...
am back.
Oh, you're back.
I am back.
Are you okay? Did your kitten try to murder you?
No, I'm totally fine. My battery had a decent charge when I started this on my laptop here, and then all of a sudden I look over and I'm getting a warning that it's going to shut down, and I was like, fuck.
Well,
so I had to go find a cord.
It was probably working really hard to try to impress the new co-host. It's like, I have to work awesome for Max Doggy. He sounds like a great gentleman. And I hate Gunny, so I'm happy. That's probably what happened.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah.
Alright, well since you were messing with your microphone and being mauled by a kitten, the next story is that the Xbox One without Kinect, that's never happening, says Microsoft. Microsoft says that the Xbox One and the Kinect are the same thing. So they're saying you wouldn't take a keyboard out of a computer, which, tablets, but the Xbox One and Kinect are the same thing, and so you can't have one without them. So there probably will never, ever, ever be an Xbox One bundle without a Kinect, making all of the Sony fanboys say, you're stupid, in the little 5-year-old way that most of them do.
The next piece of information is Saints Row 4 has been out, and so far it's gotten decent reviews.
Yes. I myself have not partaken in the Saints Row universe. I have all of the games. I just haven't had time to play them because the summer has been not really much of a summer. But yeah, Saints Row 4 is out today. Kotaku really likes the game. They highly suggest it. Plus it has Keith David, who was also the voice of the Arbiter. Keith David's awesome. So yes, you should buy the game. And my quickie review from not playing it and just seeing other reviews is that you should have this game. So, if you could see me right now, I'm giving it my thumbs up of approval.
I have not gotten to Saints Row 4 yet, but I have played through the entire series. That was actually my last summer's thing, was I got into Saints Row. Personal favorite for those of you guys listening who played it has got to be number 2. I feel like with number 2 was amazing. 3, in my opinion, totally changed the series. I mean, it was already kind of going in that direction, but it went from kind of like a GTA gang-style alternative game to you play this game to fuck around and hit people with giant dildos.
Giant dildo bats, now approved in Saints Row 3.
Yeah, now approved. And then we hit Saints Row 4, and now they're essentially, from what I can tell, fucking superpowers involved, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna play this game and just laugh the whole time. They're cool with me.
Well, yeah, because especially looking at what GTA 5 is doing right now, like, Saints Row really needed to go crazy to differentiate itself. And so they have, and now we have an awesome game.
Yeah. And this next part just, I when I wanted to cry. Apparently we have voice actors who worked on Half-Life 2 that are saying that Half-Life 3 isn't even into production.
Yeah, so story goes, this Half-Life 2 voice actor is doing an AMA type thing, Ask Me Anything type interview. And from what I can gather and what the news story can gather is that he's saying, yeah, I haven't even been contacted yet, but from the last thing that I heard, Half-Life 3 wasn't even in production, and that it wasn't a thing at all. So, from what we can gather from this little information tidbit, is that Half-Life 3 doesn't exist. However, it doesn't mean that Half-Life 2 Episode 3 doesn't exist. He didn't say that.
Very, very true.
But we don't know. So, no Half-Life 3.
Yeah. But yeah, that definitely, just kind of seeing that at first was like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that at all. There have been too many teases in general to go ahead and pull that one on me.
Well, Brendan, as I like to say, this is why we can't have nice things.
It really is. Like, that is the series that I will say this. When that game comes out, no one in this community, I don't give a fuck if I have a podcast to do, will hear from me until I am done with it. Like, that's how much I care about that series.
Alright, so now we're gonna move from big topics, from gaming news, to now to quick hits. I'll just read these headlines, and Toast can throw in a comment if he wants. And if not, I'll just keep going. So, prepare your behinds. Alright, here we go.
Bite the pillow.
Okay. The PlayStation Vita gets a price cut and is now $199. That was announced at Gamescom. In addition, Borderlands 2 is finally coming to the Vita from 2K. Toast.
Man, it's about fucking, like, I mean, Borderlands 2, really? A little late.
Also, I'm kind of concerned that Gearbox is taking the time to port it to Vita instead of making Borderlands 3 already. So, Hurry up on that, get that released, everything will be okay. Next story. Minecraft is coming to PlayStation 4 as a launch title. Additionally, Infamous Second Son will be launching in February 2014, moving it out of the launch year of 2013.
Interesting. The one thing that I hope with Minecraft is I don't really care if it goes to PlayStation 4. I don't feel that it needs to be an exclusive title or anything. All that I care about is I want them at least for between PS4 and Xbox One, open up the servers so we can have cross-platform.
Wow, you're very, you think the companies like to work together. You're such an innocent person.
I know they don't like to look, but for example, like with Destiny, like I'm looking at Destiny and they've even said that there's going to be, cross-platform. And I'm looking at them like, there we go. There's no reason why, if it's not an exclusive title, that I shouldn't be able to grow the online community from either console.
But business, Toast. Business.
I don't care. And I have expressed this before. I understand business. Trust me, I really do. And I get where they're coming from, but I will 1,000 times over claim that video game is the new modern art, and essentially what you need to do with that is look at it as an art form and not a business venture. But anyway,
What reasons?
We will continue before I get off on a tangent.
Also, a story that broke last night or the night before. On PlayStation Network in Europe, they accidentally, for all people that had preloaded or pre-ordered GTA 5 on the PlayStation Network Europe store, some of that content was released and leaked, and some of the GTA 5 content files, like the themes and the music and the soundtracks, all of that was released. And PlayStation Network, after a day of it being up, were like, oh, sorry, we leaked all of this potentially spoiler-filled information about a game that doesn't even come out until September. We're sorry, please don't hate us. And so now everyone's going around trying to figure out what the story's about, and there's all these spoilers going around.
Don't read the internet.
So if you do not want don't read the internet. If you're watching or listening to this podcast, you're probably not doing it right. Just turn off your computer now. You'll be okay. Actually, don't do that. We miss your face. Okay, next story. World of Tanks, Xbox 360 edition. The beta is available now in North America and Europe. So if you don't already have it, and you like World of Tanks, well, first of all, you're not reading my Twitter feed, and I'm not sure if I like you. And two, you should download it now. Toast.
Man, tanks. That's pretty much it.
Please, somebody take a soundbite of that, just make it your ringtone, and then send it to me. That'd be awesome. Thanks.
That'd be great. I would even have that as my own ringtone. Get a text, and every time I get a text, just hear, "Meh, tanks."
Alright, next story. Fable Legends is a thing, and that whole Lionhead Studios, well, they're making Fable Legends, And it looks like you can play as a villain in other people's worlds, or you can play as a hero. I don't really know much about it, but there's beta testing rolling out in 2014. There's no plans for Fable 4. They're doing a Fable Legends thing instead. It'll be on the Xbox One as an exclusive. Obviously, there's no Peter Molyneux involved. Toast.
Fable's meh. I was never able to fully get into Fable on the grounds that I felt like all the games were just kind of meh. Like, they felt kind of neutral. But this next one, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take the spotlight here because it speaks to me directly. So our next little tidbit here is that the Elder Scrolls Online confirms a traditional monthly subscription fee business model.
So yeah, it looks like you'll have to pay for the game, with probably like $50, and then you have to pay $15 a month for the subscription fee. And that's just dumb.
This is one thing that really upsets me is I originally heard that they were going to go with the traditional monthly subscription fee, and I thought that that was going to circumvent the original payment for the game. And I said, okay, if I'm just going to do like a monthly thing, I can understand that. It's an expansive MMO. Those never stop. You know what I mean? Like, there's an unlimited amount of time in which you can play this. Alright, cool. But considering the fact that you have to buy the game and then subscribe, now I'm pissed. The only good news I have coming from the Elder Scrolls Online is that they're not going to take up microtransactions. Which, for those of you guys who don't know in the MMO world, it's, for example, being able to buy gear to buff up your guy so you're better than everybody else in PvP without actually earning it.
Brandon, I hate to burst your bubble, but also in the Twitter feed, microtransactions are now a thing. I heard
just the other day that they weren't going to do that. I'm done.
Yeah, well, if you can't monetize the game, well, okay. MMOs are ripe for monetization in every single facet of the term. So, it makes sense that they're doing microtransactions. I, for one, wasn't probably going to ever play Elder Scrolls Online, as the only Elder Scrolls game I played was Skyrim. I really enjoyed it, but monthly subscription fees, that's not how I roll. I'm going to be a college student and it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, microtransactions, as reported by Xbox360achievements.com, microtransactions will be a thing for Elder Scrolls Online.
They're gonna, I will say this right now, they're gonna lose a big chunk of their fan base by doing all this.
Well, yeah. But money, it's the same thing that happened with, Star Wars, The Old Republic, or whatever. And now it's a free-to-play game, and hardly anyone plays it. Makes you a sad panda. Alright, now moving on to some Xbox One news. Project Spark, the game where you can generate your own games, you make up games, kind of in the realm of Little Big Planet. Project Spark can use the Kinect 2.0 camera to record motion capture for enemies and characters and things that you create in the world. So in this news story, they showed a trailer of a guy making an orc as an enemy, and this guy was dancing around and doing motion capture for this orc, so he can figure out how this orc will walk based on it, and if they use that guy's animation, he'll hop like a bunny rabbit. But yeah, motion capture is a thing, and that's really, really, really cool. And they've also showed another trailer where they have all these different games that people have already made that got their hands on the game. And one of them even involves someone like, what's his face? Gosh darn it. Who is the main flying guy from Transformers? Starts with an S. Starscream. Yeah. It's a guy basically looks like Starscream, and he's flying in the air. And then looks like an airplane, but then he transforms into a character, like a robot character, on the ground, and he starts speeding things up. That's just cool. Awesome. Shout out to Kaz, because he'll really like this information. And if you didn't already know it, shame on you, Kaz. Shame on you. Excuse me. And then also, the new Defiance trailer for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag came out, and it's a live-action trailer. And it's very dark and moody and brooding, and it features Kenway on top of a boat being taken over by his crew, and it's dark, and it sets the mood and the tone. What's your opinion on Assassin's Creed 4? Are you getting it? Yes, no, maybe so.
Can't set a fucking tone for that. Don't talk to me about fucking Assassin's Creed. Meh. And I've said this many times on the podcast before, It was tied as my number 1 series until number 3. Number 3 killed it for me. However, I will be playing Black Flag. I'm gonna try it out elsewhere before I buy it. Probably at a friend's or something like that, just to make sure. And if they redeem themselves, then I'll see AC3 as the bad game that had to happen, and I'll fall back in love with the series again. But right now, man, my hopes aren't too high.
Okay, I'm going to expand this discussion a little bit. Why, okay, in 2 sentences or less, why did you not like AC3?
Because what they did with the central storyline made the previous 3 games meaningless.
You talking about Desmond?
Yup.
Okay.
And that's another thing I'm gonna say right now. Desmond is the central storyline to any of these games. Anybody who thinks that it's his ancestor is fucking retarded and didn't pick up on anything, to be honest. Number 1. I'm just gonna call you retarded right now. Second off, they will, okay, spoiler alert. If you haven't played, stop listening now, cause I realize I haven't done the AC thing. Wait, have you not played it yet, Max?
No,
oh, wait, no, okay. Okay. So you've been forewarned, everyone. All of AC2 and the entire premise for the AC2 story arc was training Desmond to be an assassin. And then the ending implies that you're getting rid of him, the ending of number 3, before you even get a whole game devoted to him being an assassin. And then on top of that, it's been confirmed that for Assassin's Creed 4, the central character is not going to be Desmond. So they're not even bringing him back. Like, there's no hope for that. So for me, I'm looking at it going, well, you just took a giant fucking shit on your central storyline. Congratulations.
Well, I didn't like that story part, and I completely 100% agree with you. I thought that the storyline of Connor was interesting, and I liked it. And the Homestead missions, which a lot of people didn't finish, that brought a nice ending to the whole story arc, and it made me feel okay with the fact that the Desmond storyline was just pooped on over here in a corner.
Yeah, my other thing was, I felt that Connor was an incredibly static character, and that's why I didn't like him. I also have played the DLCs, because I got them, and I didn't like them. I didn't like the whole alternate universe thing.
You didn't?
That pissed me off. It pissed me off.
I highly enjoyed it. However, they were really short, and they charged like $20 for it, and it, like, if you bought the season
exactly.
pass,
it was
that's what made me mad.
Didn't really have much. I didn't like that. I didn't like what they did with the multiplayer. When it launched, there was a DLC pack that you could purchase that gave you all of the upgrades that you would have earned through leveling up in the multiplayer, essentially making, and the reason why I say that this is a problem is because the only people who play AC multiplayer are AC diehards, and AC diehards buy those DLCs,
Yep. And
so essentially you're going in and you've took a giant shit on the mechanics of balancing your multiplayer, which I for one, thoroughly enjoyed that multiplayer from Brotherhood to Revelations.
Wait for it.
But yeah,
Are you ready? Are you ready? This is why we can't have nice things.
Yep, exactly. This is why we can't have nice things. Connor was too static. I felt that Hatham would have been a better choice for a central character for the game. Yeah, Connor, to be honest, he didn't have the right amount of fire, in my opinion, and he was lacking in personality. He was just this sounds really bad, because okay, this is not meant to be a racist comment at all. He was too simple-minded.
Oh.
And I don't mean that like, I'm taking a shit on people that come from like, a native culture or anything, but it was just kind of, you fucking suck. You seem retarded.
Well, he had this kind of duality of growing up in both worlds. Like, he belonged to both worlds. Kind of like a whole Spock thing in Star Trek. And as a fan of Star Trek,
don't compare it to that. Don't compare it to that.
It's
Spock's
not,
is so much
great.
better.
It's similar. It's not.
Okay, yeah, similar. I will give you that. I will give you that.
Okay.
Anyway, we should continue with this.
Okay. New trailer for Titanfall came out, and it was a story mission, but it's all multiplayer based. So this story kind of transforms as whichever team wins, and it does storytelling through that way. I don't know how like the whole lobby system is going to work. Like you can play certain story missions, and it's for and against. I don't know how that's going to work, but it looks like the old remnants getting the award that took off after the whole EA Activision Infinity Award debacle. It looks like they're doing quite well for themselves, if I must say myself.
Yeah. And the final little quip here is the Xbox One will include FIFA 14 with European pre-orders.
So if you do live in Europe and you pre-ordered an Xbox One and you like football, yeah, I use football for you. even though I like American football. Yeah, you'll get people.
Cough, cough, Charger Nation. Anyway.
Okay, Detroit Lions, FTW.
You're a Lions fan?
I'm
interesting. Well, I mean, it makes sense. You're from Michigan, so.
Well, north of Detroit. But I was born in Detroit, so it counts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
FIFA 14 will come with European pre-orders. That's a thing. So, that was the end of the little quick hits thing that we ended up blowing to a super large segment. So, question for you, Toast, and question for everyone else listening that you can send to us in a listener mail. Haha. If you only had to get 3 games that have been announced, not own launch titles, for your next console purchase, what would it be? Toast. Go.
Well, see, here's the thing. It has to be stuff that has been confirmed. You know what I mean? And so, out of the ones that have been confirmed, I'm gonna have to go with exactly what I think you might go with, Max, and say Battlefield 4, Destiny, and the next Halo.
I say the Halo, Destiny, and Battlefield 4. Why?
Oh, you changed it. But mine was no, if I had to rank those, it would totally, by the way, go Destiny number 1, and the other 2 can duke out. But, and I had to go with those just because of what was confirmed. There are other things that we know are in production and that we know that will be coming but haven't been confirmed. For example, Fallout 4. And that would definitely make my top 3. But as per the rules of this, I will say.
Once again, for all everyone listening, if you only had to get 3 games that have been announced and not just launch titles, console purchase, what would it be? And if you so inclined, why?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear people's why on that. And then this last piece, and I'm trying to, for those of you guys that are sitting there and going, this is taking a while. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a decent length podcast. Our end little comment here, question, whatever you want to call it, is that for the Man of Steel sequel, it has been confirmed that Batman will make an appearance, and that Batman is going to be played by none other than fucking Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
I am furious about this.
Affleck.
And I actually have a bit of background with this one. One, I'm pissed because I don't want Ben Affleck touching it after he ruined Daredevil. I don't want him doing another superhero movie. Interesting little fun fact though, guys. Within an hour of this being confirmed, there were over 300 petitions to remove him. And on top of that, one such petition was actually on the Obama administration site.
Yep.
They literally petitioned the president saying you need to make it illegal for Ben Affleck to portray Batman or any other superhero. Which the Obama administration promptly removed it and issued a statement saying don't put that shit on our site in short layman's terms. But yeah, also in your listener mail, how do you guys feel about Ben Affleck?
Also, is Matt Damon going to be Robin?
You know, that's one that everybody's been talking about. When I found out about this news, I found out via a tweet from Gunny, and he actually said, and that means Matt Damon must be Batman, and I'm like, or must be Robin, and I'm like, no. Just no, don't do this.
What about JGL? You know, Gordon Levitt. You know, he got the
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yes.
Like, he would be, yes. Like, he got the whole thing, but I guess they're not going off of the Nolan trilogy. I don't know.
It's real interesting. Nolan is part of the Man of Steel team, but he's keeping his Batman canon its own sacred, and so he doesn't want to touch any of that. The other thing that would be interesting is seeing Joseph Gordon-Levitt, if he ever does do anything of a spinoff and have Batman or have Robin, it'll be real interesting to see the location he went, because if you noticed, I don't know if anybody else did this. I don't know if they're big enough Batman geeks like I am. One, we've had 7 Robins today, and the name of just in the last Dark Knight movie was a combination of 3 of those Robins' names, the 3 main ones.
Yes, sir.
So, where are they gonna go with this one? You've got 7 different story arcs you could build off of. It would be interesting. I would love to see it, personally.
'Cause I'm Batman.
I'm the Batman. Also, interesting little quip, if you guys are interested, if you guys don't already go on crack.com and read the article, start. If you don't follow their YouTube channel, start. They have this series called After Hours. You should totally go and search their After Hours video as to why Batman is bad for Gotham. Great video. Great little quip there. But
We are all done.
Yeah, we are all
my
done
gaming segments.
with all of the news. This episode was definitely a news thing. I thought it'd be a nice little introduction for Max here, and also there's just tons of information that I think everybody here in this community, being a gamer, cares about.
So with that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you guys over to a break, and we will be back right after that for our final segment where we're going to cover a potential contest coming up as well as listener mail. So stay tuned for that, guys. And welcome back into the FC podcast. Hopefully, if you're listening on the Podomatic or the iTunes version, you heard Gunny's requested break, which we will get to in a second. You will hear the name of here. But, of course, with the final segment comes our final part of the show, and that is, of course, listener mail, which we hope to get quite a bit of in relation to all the news we threw at you from the last segment.
Seriously, give us mail!
And our first piece actually comes from our old co-host, Gunny, saying, yeah, I'm listening, ho. Which, fuck you, don't call me a ho. He starts off going, what's up? In all caps, which I don't understand the need for that. He continues,
maybe he's like Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
I think he might be in a Breaking Bad mood.
That's what I thought.
He continues going, first off, congrats to Max Doggy. I work with Max a lot in Legacy, and he's seriously the perfect choice. He gets the Gunny certificate of approval. Kiss ass. This is being a kiss ass. Then he goes, second off, fuck yeah, I'm listening. Gotta support that I helped created. And I gotta say, it was very odd listening to the podcast from the other side, but I still enjoyed it. Good stuff. Little anecdote here. Bullshit. Last time I talked to Gunny, he pretty much said that he would maybe listen to the podcast if he had the time and if he felt like it, but he was meh on it. Here, he sounds very gung-ho. Yes, I gotta listen to what I started. Calling you out, motherfucker. Don't try to save face on the show. Don't even go there. Grrr. His third thing is that he's saying that he might be off the podcast team, but he's still available for discussions or a guest from time to time. Maybe a 2013 NFL season preview. Have your people call my people. You know what? We're gonna do that. In case you guys, I'm already gonna call this now. If you guys don't like football, you're not gonna like the main discussion of the next show, because it's gonna be a roundtable discussion between Max, me, our very own Blackhawk, and Gunny. And maybe a couple others. We will see. I might have a massive ass roundtable discussion for a 2013 preseason preview. So definitely stay tuned to that. Or season preview, not preseason preview. What the hell am I talking about?
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
He says, and fourth and finally, I have a song request for a break outro, which you guys already heard, and that's Click by Kanye West, Jay-Z, and Big Sean. Gotta get some rap representation in there. And apparently he's going to suggest rap/hip-hop every week. Gunny, you're doing this just because you want to be a douche. Then he says, I look forward to the first show with the new co-host. I'll be listening. Signing out, Killer Gunny 132. He's a ho.
Thank you, Gunny. Thank you for sucking up. It felt good, but it wasn't necessary. But also, rap hip-hop, no me gusta, senor.
I'm fine with rap and hip-hop as long as he suggests good ones. The problem is he's suggesting, like, bad mainstream ones that, to be honest, are too far away from what rap should be, in my opinion, which I will deem professional.
Roger Dodger. So, shall we move on to the next listener mail?
I think we shall.
This next one is from Timpan Carpet, otherwise known as Timothy Carpenter, otherwise known as Yeezus. This is an email from you to me and Toast. I shall read it now. The email subject is yo with a whatchamacallit? What is it?
Carrot.
A carrot. Yes, the carrot. Yo, carrot. Toast and Max. Sup. Well, sup to you, but above me is a ceiling. I already missed Gunny. Bring him back. No, I'm kidding, Max. You did fine. Even though I typed this before hearing what you said. Shut up, Loco.
Gotta throw that
Amen.
in every episode.
Amen. Amen. Shut up, Loco. Going back to the text. I thoroughly enjoyed Toast/Urias's villain discussion in last week's episode. Admittedly, I freaked the shit when it seemed like you guys were not going to touch the Mass Effect villains, but I'm glad you got around to it. What made the villainy in Mass Effect so good was the epic scale of it. Mass Effect 1 opened up with a clear-cut villain in Saren, and his queer alliance with the Geth, that grabbed the audience's attention with what their mission will be. It wasn't until you visited Vermeer that you realized Saren and the Geth are not the real force that threatens the galaxy. It's actually larger, scarier, and more real than any video game character and player could imagine. This, of course, was the Reapers. Sovereign was a pretty intense character with excellent dialogue. I only wish they continued with this stance with the Alpha Reaper, Harbinger. For being the first Reaper and the largest, Harbinger didn't really get any camera time in Mass Effect 3, one of my frowny-faced regrets of the series, because he was pretty badass in Mass Effect 2. This theme of the, quote, hidden enemy using puppets to carry out their plans, end quote, is a huge boner for me. Side note, that's just awkward.
Yeah. Couldn't need to go there.
Going back, and guess what? This continues in another franchise of BioWare, Dragon Age Inquisition. In last month's Game Informer, it was revealed that Thetis, I don't know how to say it, has gone to shit. Templars and mages are at war with each other for their own existence. Lace is in the Civil War, something that has been in the works since DA1. The Imperium and the Quinari are stepping up hostilities with each other, and Ferelden is still recovering from the blight in Dragon Age Origins. During all this crap, the sky opens up and demons start invading the land. With no unified force to stop them, the apocalypse has seemingly come to Thetis. Apparently, there's an individual/force behind all of the conflict from the past two games, influencing everything so that this would happen. Spoiler! I freaking think it's Flemeth, that old bitch. It's up to you, the Inquisitor, to build up your land, forces, and prestige, decide with factions, unite the land, and address this threat for one final battle. Sounds a lot like Mass Effect. Eh? You're not Canadian, you can't use that. Can't wait for this game. It should be a solid. I remember everyone playing Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. This game won't be out till fall of 2014. Keep up the good work on the podcast, boys. Yeah, shout.
See, my problem there is that he doesn't have a comma with the keep up the good work on the podcast, boys. It should have a comma between podcast and boys. So
absolutely.
Now I'm just looking at his keep up the good work on the podcast, boys. And I'm like, no, we don't do that to our interns.
Wait, we have interns?
Yeah.
Wait. Interns implies that people are getting paid. Am I supposed to be getting paid for this?
Possibly. I may be holding out on things.
Okay.
Trying to get away from that awkward-ass conversation that I'm going to have after this recording. Our last piece of listener mail comes from Adrian, one of our most dedicated listeners. And it starts out with a delivery subsystem error. Apparently he sent it to Forerunner Conflict at yahoo.com instead of the Forerunner Conflict podcast at yahoo.com, so it rejected his email. But the actual text of his thing says, "Hey Toasty and Mad Max, best trilogy ever. Those who disagree needs more chainsaw in their face." I like that, Mad Max. Which that will be addressed here. A new name for you in a second. He goes, "I gotta say, Toast, I thought pigeon was a synonym to dove, but whatever. No, they're closely related, but they are not the same species." He continues saying, "You have to finish Borderlands 2 sometimes, Toast. I think it's a pretty neat game, although the original one was 100 times better in my opinion. The last part of the game is amazing, despite having a really boring final boss, and I think you should get some of the DLC too, so go to that friend of yours and ask if you can borrow it again, or buy it. Don't have the money to buy it right now. I will say the in-boss battle in Borderlands 1 was fucking great. Just that whole moment of, wait, what the fuck is that? Was perfect."
But then the ending after that was kinda, what? Is this the end? Yeah.
Yeah, but
I seriously thought, like, I had accidentally skipped a cutscene. Like, I was, like, really upset.
Yeah, that's what I felt like it too. Like, I was just like, did I press something? What did I do?
Just like, nope, that's it. Have fun.
And then, I forgot the subject, which I'm gonna pop back to at the end of this. after we touch on this little thing here. He goes, here are my thoughts about Halo 5. 1, keep Cordy dead. I would like to see a bit difference in the franchise and how 343 would handle this. It would be rather lame if Chief found a copy. I agree. It would be lame if he just had a copy. As terms of keeping Cortana dead, I don't see it happening. She's gonna come back in one form or another. Second off, he says they should make John have hallucinations just like in Halo 3, just don't make them as annoying as they were. I agree. I think showing a bit more of Chief's human side and having a very, very hard time coping with his loss would be very, very good. Mm-hmm. That would just be great to see in the series. And they're kind of already going in that direction. Third off, he says, please, less Covey / none at all. I hated that Storm faction thing. I think it was a horrible idea. I don't want the Coveys gone. I, to be honest though, would like to know more about what's going on with the Covenant in general at this point in time.
Well, if you read the books by Karen Travis, you would know.
Yes, I have not gotten to those yet. However, what my point being though is I want them more involved in the actual games.
Agreed.
I think it'd just be nice, to just have them involved in general. Like, they have great chemistry with everything the series presents. But anyway, he says, so those are his thoughts on that, and hey, he takes his hipster glasses off. Toast, you never told me that you have some Norwegian blood in you. Yes, I do. I'm pretty much half Norwegian. The next largest chunk of me is German, so European as fuck. He goes, that's probably the one of many factors making you that awesome. Also, he says that I pronounce Lefse flawlessly, so he gives me a thumbs up, which is really, really cool. Speaking of which, and I forgot the, original, what do you call it? Subject, there we go, thank you. Which is actually entitled Cold Lefse. Is there really an English translation of that? Butter wraps? I don't think so. For those of you guys who don't know, essentially what it is you take potatoes, you make potatoes, you smash it down, throw in some flour, you roll it out in kind of like a large thing that kind of looks like a bit like a tortilla, and you cook it, and then you pretty much put butter on it. Norwegian way, from what I've known, is that you pretty much just put butter on it. The Swedish way of doing it, from what I hear, and Adrian probably knows more about this than I do, is to put a bit of sugar on there and possibly a bit of cinnamon to make it a bit sweeter. But yeah, I don't think there is an English translation. I think that you just keep its name. Like, that'd be asking for, like, if there's an English translation for, I don't know, lasagna.
Vodka?
Yeah, or vodka. It's just the food.
This has been the FC Cooking Podcast. Peace off.
Yeah, and then he says, peace, tea, and then he goes, damn it, I did it again, fuck, in response to the whole error thing. He's had this problem before. So yeah, that's pretty much it in the listener mail, world. In terms of what I said, when I said that I'd get back to a new name for you, Max, I kinda like the whole Mad Max idea, in terms of something to reference you by in listener mails. But what I really mean here is recently we got what I will call an offer as a donation, for us to run a contest. And so what I decided to do.
Sign me up.
Yeah, so what I decided that we would do, I talked to Max about it and everything, and I thought that what we would do is have the prize be 800 Microsoft points so somebody out there can get the new Champions bundle that doesn't have it. Or you can do other things with it, but considering that we're a Halo community and Pitfall looks fucking sweet as shit, I thought that would be, I thought that would be a good use of it. I'm so jealous that I don't have that yet. So all of my jealousy.
For shame.
For shame. But anyway, speaking of which, I decided that we'd run that contest, and what I feel that we need is, this contest is going to be a make something for the podcast contest. What I mean by that is, we will give you 2 episodes, so not this upcoming episode, but essentially 2 weeks from when you hear this, it'll be due. Or actually a couple days before, because we record on Sundays. What we're going to need from you is to make something for the podcast. And that could be either new art. Currently we're sporting the art that the great Kazil made. And it's great and all. I love you, Kaz. I love the art, but I'd like to see, if maybe we can get some more community shout-outs for those graphic designers out there. Or, and this was the one that I'm really hoping for, somebody to make us some new audio. And whether that be an outro, whether that be a break that you just kind of put together, or what I really, really want is a new intro for the second season. Trust me, I love the intro. I put it together myself. It was fun. It's great. I love the whole, G-Man, is it really that time again? It's just my favorite part. But, new season, new co-host, I could go for a new intro.
So, will you be the one to do it? If so, we have the monies.
Yeah, so essentially go ahead and just make your work. I'll remind you guys in the next podcast as well as in the thread for this show. And then if you have it put together, essentially just shoot me a message. I'll get in contact with you. You can give me the file, and then Max and I will check it out, and we'll see who wins.
Exactly. And if you win, I may just give you a shout out on my live stream on twitch.tv/MaxDoggy, and that may be posted to YouTube at youtube.com/user/MadMaxDog1. I have a gaming channel now. Shameless plug for the win.
In terms of other shameless plugs, this is something we forgot to mention earlier. We did say, whoa, I totally forgot everything. Never mind, people. Never mind.
I know nothing.
I literally forgot my entire point there. Whatever. If I remember it, I'll put it in the thread. But other than that, guys, you guys have now met the new co-host. Hopefully you like him. Maybe you can give him a little critique or give him some comments in your listener mail.
Okay, if you don't like me, shut up. Just don't say anything.
If you like him, tell him you love him. If you don't like him, apparently you have to keep your mouth shut.
Basically.
And message me in private, because I'm curious. But in general, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing up. This has been another great week here doing the podcast. And overall, stay classy.
I don't have an outro, so outro.